a lot of people, conventions are their only means of escaping stress and pressure, but escaping stress and pressure without escaping into their minds. It's the only way of escaping in real life. Like maybe you're having a rough time at school, or maybe, your job is giving you trouble, or maybe you just don't like your job, like most people, and, maybe whatever it is, whatever stresses in your life, conventions are there purely to let go of it and not have to deal with it for 3 days.
There's not much here for me. When I'm here, I don't feel free, but when I'm there, I feel alive. It's what I need to survive. No offense, you're all great, but it really is too late to change my personality. It's just my reality, and I do not blame you for questioning what I do. It doesn't matter. Well, technically it matters to me, but it shouldn't matter to you. I don't need any substance.
James Barkley was born on August 26, 1994 in New York. Growing up, he didn't really have much interest in anything and didn't know what to do at that time, but he did experiment with using the animation software Flash, which sparked an interest for James for animation, so he decided he wanted to become an animator. However, due to his social anxiety, he kind of struggled with interacting with anyone, so having to be an animator was a way for him to be himself almost. He created his alias of AnimatedJames Studios, but he later deleted before he moved on to his new and well-known alias AnimatedJames on January 21st, 2013, when he was around the age of 18. Now let's remember the era of YouTube during that time, as this was 2013 YouTube. We didn't really have many animators at that time, as this was mostly the year for game creators. And animes were a rarity to see, with the only notable ones being Suzy and Domix, who were at the time popular for their anime story time based on their real life. However, for original animations on YouTube, there really wasn't a lot out there, and the ones that exist were most likely re-uploads from another platform, Newgrounds. Don't call me on that, I barely knew Newgrounds existed at that time, nor have I not discovered any original animations on YouTube at that time as well. This would later change, however, once AnimatedJames posted his first ever video on YouTube titled Seniors Cancer Crusaders on February 3rd.
Alright class, today I'm giving you all an extremely important assignment.
Didn't she say that last week when we had to write a 10-page essay on the history of contact lenses?
James!
Basically, the whole synopsis is that a group of students have to think of an idea to create a commercial about awareness of cancer. Yeah, that's basically it. But honestly, this animation aged pretty well, honestly. Each character has its own unique character trait that distincts themselves, and I really like that contrast towards each character. The voice acting performances are really good, especially if they were amateurs, despite their really poor microphones at that time.
We are gonna be the greatest team ever.
You, Larry.
We need a name, like the Cancer Conquerors, or the Cancer Crusader.
The music is actually really well done. The jokes to me are really funny, honestly. Edgy but funny. And the animation quality is up there as being amazing, especially if it's done by James himself. In fact, James did a lot of the work for this video, since he was not only the animator, but he was also the writer, voice actor, and a musician, and I think he executed each role really well. There were a lot of smooth animations, lots of expressions from the characters, and the lip syncing is pretty well done. I'm sorry if I have to keep praising this, but this was made in 2013, where animation wasn't that popular on YouTube. The production value shouldn't be this good. And rewatching it now is so nostalgic for me, and reminiscent on the old classic YouTube where we were allowed to see the dislike ratio. The video overall gained over 2.4 million views and 32,000 likes. It's kind of difficult to know how many subscribers he gained, but I'm sure he gained a huge subscriber boost. Seniors will actually be some sort of pilot for his original series, however only 2 episodes, well, I mean if you count the show as a second episode, and the intro were released. Later on, he will review his other interests as well, more specifically his interest in My Little Pony. Now, I don't mind the My Little Pony fan base. If you have an interest in them, then that's cool. I don't mind, no care about it. I think they do receive a lot of hate due to the demographic mainly towards children. But hey, I don't really want to judge people because of their interests. Plus, My Little Pony was really popular at that time, so seeing a content creator on YouTube who is a pony is honestly kind of novel to see. So when James started to show signs of it, I really didn't mind it. Throughout his older videos, they were either about the senior series or re-uploads of his older animations. However, we would see huge popularity on his content with literally 6 of his animations breaking over 10 million views. Jesus Christ. This was solved with a video titled Sonic vs Rainbow Dash. I really don't need to explain further as to what the video is. The video will be insanely popular with over 67 million views and over 205,000 likes. Although it does have a slightly higher dislike count, maybe due to the hate towards these fan bases at that time. This success would continue with literally 7 days after, titled Tales vs Twilight. Then soon after, Pokemon character will be released as well, and I think this was the first video that I was interested in and got me invested into AnimatedJames. Because at that time, I was a really huge fan of Pokemon, and I'm still am, of course. I mean, come on, I'm a bloody Bidoof in this channel. I mean, yeah, I'm still a huge fan. These videos would not only be successful, but would immediately get destroyed by this next upload, Marvel Musical, a high quality animated music video based on the Avengers, which at the time was the most popular movie in 2012, despite the video releasing in 2013. Now I have a little theory as to why these animations were very popular around that time. Because he not only attracted different audiences like the Marvel, Pokemon, and My Little Pony fan bases, the high animation quality in each of these videos and the fact that it was an animated video in 2013 was insane for most viewers, especially since James still animated all the videos by himself, showing the incredible talent as an independent animator James is. Soon after, this would lead him to start the production of one of my favorite series from him, C Students.
Things you think are unbelievable are actually achievable as long as
C Students, released on April 15, 2014, stars 3 protagonists: August, voiced by James, Kevin, voiced by Kribix, and Penny, voiced by Marine. Now you have noticed that a lot of the characters, plot, and setting is very similar to his first series, Seniors. I think he took the basis of Seniors and made it into, in my opinion, a way better show. One of the strongest elements within this show is the characters. August is the more normal character around the friend group who doesn't really care much about his education and has to deal with Kevin's shenanigans all the time. Speaking of Kevin, Kevin's the most slapstick and asshole-like humor character that basically tries to get down with any pretty girl. Penny is the more mature and innocent one who wants to get along with everyone, including wanting to be in a girl group. I really like the character dynamic between his characters, and I think the dialogue within it fits really well. Another strong element is the animation. James takes it to another level with the amount of expressions, movement, references to pop culture, and the amount of fourth wall breaks makes this a spectacular watch. I think the humor in the show really holds up, in my opinion, and now that I'm more grown up, I can actually understand what the jokes are, and it's up to this point I just realized I watched gay porn when I was young. Like, holy shit, why the fuck is this up? God damn. The music is another element I was pleasantly surprised about, as it legitimately feels like there was a lot of time and passion to it, with the main soundtrack on the musical notes scene especially. Honestly, I could really go on explaining more as to what I love about this pilot episode, but I think I want to spend more time discussing episode 2 and signs of AnimatedJames' downfall. At the beginning of episode 2, which by the way, the release date of episode 2 was near the first anniversary of C Students, he put a disclaimer about the future of C Students to a SoundCloud. However, James would delete it, so I can't really find any evidence as to why he stopped production of it. Looking through the comments to see what happened, and the main thing I saw from it was that James believed that his idea for the show was very uncreative, and he kept pulling characters' personalities out of his ass. Nevertheless, it had to be something personal for James to stop the production of C Students, and release an unfinished second episode which he never continued working on. This doesn't mean he stopped using the characters from C Students, as he would continue to use it in a speed draw and in a music video called Creative Types, an amazing music video that I really want to talk about more, but I have already praised the man so much, so just watch for yourself and create your own opinion, because I think it's a really fantastic music video. This doesn't mean he would stop uploading it. In fact, he would actually release his first ever video where he actually showed himself in front of a camera, titled AnimatedJames' Panel 18+, where we actually get a chance to see the type of humor he's actually into, and how he interacts with everyone, and I feel like it's a huge characteristic I really like about James. I really like how he isn't very expressive whenever he tells a joke or when the audience is laughing. I don't know if it's just me, but I just find that really funny.
It'll give me something nice to go to sleep with, and it'll give me something nice to wake up to. At least until I move in with my friend Nick.
However, the channel wouldn't receive any new animations, and it seemed like he slowly moved away to making webcomics, with his first one being Middle Ground, and his second and last comic he would put out would be Of Saving the World, with both having announcement videos attributing to those comics. And Of Saving the World would be his last video before he would eventually make his unfortunate goodbye video. His last ever video will be posted on July 16, 2018, titled Continuing Of Saving the World, Discontinuing This Channel. To summarize it, James hasn't really liked himself due to his toxic behavior, bad influences around him, and never managing to control his mentality before he became famous, and he struggled to try to recover himself from it. He also talks about how he never really liked the channel because of how much the channel consumed the majority of his time, and wanted to move on and continue making animations while wanted to leave this channel. He wants to become a more happy and healthier person for himself, and I think that might be the right decision for himself if necessary. This resulted in him renaming his channel from AnimatedJames to Discontinued Channel. Now, this can be a partial reason why he left AnimatedJames, but there could be another reason why he left, and that might be because of his weird fart fetish. Yeah, I'm not joking. Apparently, he ceased making animations and other artworks in 2019 due to his fetish artworks being leaked on 4chan boards, which led him to be mocked by the internet for his art, which damaged his ego and enthusiasm for the channel. In fact, when doing a little bit digging into his social media accounts like his DeviantArt and his Tumblr, it's clear that whilst he was doing animation, he also created a lot of non-safe for work art, which is fine for me, but I was kind of surprised honestly, because I actually never knew he created non-safe for artwork until recently, despite the constant sexual references in his animations. We could actually see some of his fart fetish arts and non-safe for work art based around characters from Of Saving the World. Although a lot of people have said there was another account containing more fart fetish artworks from him, I have not discovered that yet. Okay, quick update, I did find the website, and yep, there was a lot more fetish art, and yep, you guessed it, it's pretty bloody weird to me. I'm not gonna show it because I don't want him to get more hate, but Jesus Christ, yeah, I can see why he got bullied for this. So the reason I conclude is that it can be related to his fart fetish artworks not being happy with his mental health because of the channel, and the constant hate he gets from some of his videos, which led him to move away from AnimatedJames. After his departure from AnimatedJames around 2019 to 2020, people were speculating that Nordic, a fairly new anime who actually recently left YouTube, was being compared to AnimatedJames due to the similar animation style, which I have to say that does not look like AnimatedJames' style at all. Comparing C-Student's animations with Nordic's animation style, I barely see the resemblance. People can say, oh, but Bidoof, it's been a year since we saw him. Surely he can actually change his style, right? Nah, I'm not believing that. I'm not gonna believe that shit when someone spends an entire career with one distinct art style. And sure, he may want to remove himself from AnimatedJames, but I'm certain he does not want to remove his own art style. Plus, I don't think James would make another YouTube channel only to quit again 2 years later. Because I think that's really bad for your mental health if you're just trying to move away from your long-lasting animation channel. So no, I don't think Nordic is AnimatedJames, and I think that's still a really dumb theory in my opinion. And if it's true, then screw me, but I highly doubt it. Another theory going around is that he killed himself, which isn't a justified theory, as though he talked about his declining mental health, he certainly didn't have a motive to kill himself, and he had a goal of becoming a better person, and so I highly doubt he would actually do this. I think the more logical answer is that he just moved on, and is in a much happier place than before, and I hope he's still continuing the path of being an animator, although it's still a mystery as to what he's doing nowadays. But there could be a chance for James to actually come back. Now, why am I saying this? Well, if you take a look at his YouTube channel now, surprisingly his sub and view count is still performing well, despite being inactive for almost 3 years. Now, this wouldn't be a good reason for James to come back to AnimatedJames, but it isn't unlikely though. However, of course, James Barkley is the one who decides whether or not he wants to go back to AnimatedJames. Hopefully he's mentally doing well, and I do want to see an update whether or not he's actually alive, or how's his life doing, or is he still continuing his path of being an animator. Hopefully we hear from him once, and I wish the best of luck to him. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Someone I adore. What do you think I'm alive for? But you're an individual. You have your own schedule. We are both mostly free. There's so many sights to see.